They thought that they could keep it buried forever. They thought the American people would never find out who was really pulling the strings. Well, they were wrong. What started as whispers in dark corners of Washington has now exploded into the open. Representatives are being threatened. Survivors are breaking their silence. And what they're revealing will shake this nation to its core. Foreign intelligence operation, blackmail at the highest levels, names that you know, names that you trust, all of it connected to one man who supposedly did something in a jail cell. But the truth won't stay buried. Not anymore. Now when brave Americans are finally standing up. So keep on watching. Now let me ask you something. If you built up $100,000 or more in investments, do you really want it all riding on the stock market? Think about it. Banks, billionaires, even entire countries loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. That's why I want to tell you about Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to own investment-grade gold and silver, the same kind big players are buying. And you can actually hold it in your hand or put it safely in your retirement account. You've worked hard to build your wealth. Isn't it time you protect it? Noble Gold is family-owned, trusted by thousands, and ranked #1 in gold IRAs 4 years in a row. Visit nextnewsgold.com. You'll find it linked below or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Now, we did have a representative on the ground at the Capitol today, Kristan T. Harris. You may know him from the Rundown Live. Well, he was there, and he actually was able to ask Thomas Massie a question. We're going to go to his report, gives a really good summation of what happened, and then we're going to get into all of the news surrounding it, all the headlines, what happened last night when they dropped the files, the truth about what was in those files, too. Very interesting stuff. You don't want to look away. But first, let's go to Kristan Harris's report for the Next News Network.
Epstein's Black Book.
Kristan T. Harris here for Next News.
One of them's in Epstein's Black Book.
Kristan T. Harris here for Next News Network, bringing you information from the Capitol building where the victims of Jeffrey Epstein just held a press conference. Attorneys Brad Edwards and Brittany Henderson were present, as well as Congressman Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. The victims came out one by one, and we saw many new faces today, different from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. In the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, there's 4 witnesses and victims of Jeffrey Epstein who were present. Some of them were here as well today. We got to hear from 6 new victims who actually talked in detail about their experiences with Jeffrey Epstein, coming out and saying, President, this is not a hoax, that they are victims to elitists. Jeffrey Epstein, as you know, is notorious for taking advantage of underage women in Little St. James Island. And there's been a lot of talk about whether or not there's a client list. And today we got some information on it that there is no official client list per se, but they are working, the attorney said they are working on building a list based on who these women say they were trafficked to. So Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a ledger of, hey, I gave my buddy this girl on this night or this girl on a different night, but he did do the trafficking, and the women want to bring it to light. The problem is they're worried about getting some kind of lawsuit due to their claims and ruining their lives. We're talking about very wealthy individuals. These victims said that they have been threatened, amongst other things, and that if they do mention these people, there's a chance that there will be some form of retribution or some form of acts taken out against them that will impact their life greatly, including lawsuits. We also learned, when I had a chance to ask in the question and answer about Thomas Massie, I asked Thomas Massie, what are some of the things that your constituents and colleagues are saying that they don't want to endorse this bill to release all the Jeffrey Epstein files? Thomas Massie, what's some of the kickback you're getting back from your colleagues? What are some reasons why they don't want to endorse this?
Not right now. Okay. They're being threatened. I mean, look, I've got $2 million of ads running against me back in my district, and it's funded by 3 billionaires. One of them's in Epstein's Black Book. I mean, this is what happens. Your consultants, your political consultants will abandon you when the White House gets mad at you. The speaker will block all of your bills. They'll shut down your fundraising. This isn't political, but it is. I mean, the opposition to this is very political.
He said that a lot of them are being threatened and that they're afraid. It's a power struggle. And it's interesting because this is a nonpartisan issue, right? It shouldn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. no one should want their children trafficked out to elitists. So today we learned a lot about this. We also learned that some names were mentioned. Bill Clinton was mentioned. Jeffrey Epstein often touted his relationship with Donald Trump, which is interesting, amongst other things. So if you guys are interested in more of this information, we have the full video going up. You guys can tune in. Thanks for supporting us here at Next News Network. I'm Kristan T. Harris, bringing you a recent update on what's happening here, right here in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol.
One of them's in Epstein's black.
Thank you, Kristan, for publishing that and doing the work on the ground. We have this from Thomas Massie. There's so much to unpack here. This was 21 hours ago. In just 2 hours, our discharge petition to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files garnered 134 signatures. We're over halfway to 218. Thank you to Representative Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Nancy Mace for signing the petition and standing up for the victims. Where are the men? Here is Representative Luna. This was late last night. After talking with the Epstein survivors, she says it's clear there's a lot bigger we could have anticipated. Possible Epstein was a foreign intelligence asset. Listen.
There's some very rich right now. The biggest thing that stands out to me is the victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too following up on that. There are some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily. But I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's hard to hear.
Would you sign the discharge petition, the Massie discharge petition?
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to a vote. But I mean, obviously, I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of those files. So I think I'd be happy to, yes. Thank you.
What do they call for the victims? Do they want those files released?
The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reason to be out there. So I think from the get-go, even the Attorney General stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also, too, are as young as 14, that it's child pornography. No, thank you, guys. Guys, let her through.
It's just disgusting every way you cut it. Here's Representative Nancy Mace. This made headlines, walking away in tears, visibly shaken after meeting with the Epstein victims. This is the same congresswoman who once claimed there is no Epstein list and pushed for cushy prison deals. Now the receipts are in her face. Check this out. Yeah, she was visibly shaken. We're finding out that the Trump White House actually threatening GOP lawmakers, saying if they sign Massie's petition to release the files, it'll be treated as a hostile act. And Brian Allen writes, that's not how innocent people act. That's how cover-ups get enforced. So the Trump White House actually threatening GOP lawmakers. Republican Massie, Representative Massie, dropping a bomb outside the Capitol. If you recall, President Trump called this a hoax. Well, here's what he had to say about this.
We can clear that. I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C. I think it's shameful that this...
Clearly not a hoax anymore. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene after she heard from the victims last night.
It's very good. I was the second co-sponsor on Thomas Massie's resolution. After reading the entire resolution, I think it's very good. It's well written. It protects the victims, and it provides the transparency that the country deserves, and most importantly, the survivors deserve. yes, I will be proudly signing the discharge petition.
Why is it important to do this in addition to what the Oversight Committee is doing?
Me personally, and I believe in transparency on all levels. And this shouldn't have been a battle, and unfortunately, it has been one. And you know, as a woman myself, as a mother of 2 daughters, I can't imagine any young girl or any young woman being victimized and having the government and different people in power and basically a cabal of powerful, rich people, as well as the government, cover this up and not prosecute these monsters. And so, yes.
So we're going to keep going because there is a lot. Now, this is interesting because Representative Paulina Luna posted that the Epstein files can be found here. They were just uploaded to House Oversight. Now, late last night, I downloaded them and reviewed them, and a lot of people were already commenting. You see the readers added context to the link. Most of the documents released today were already made public months ago. These are not new documents. A lot of people pointing that out. And about 98% of the information that was released by Oversight has already been public. But I want to make a point to say that despite the fact that a lot of this has been publicly released, was it all easily accessible in one simple link? Could anyone in America or the world, for that matter, just tap a link and download every single document from Oversight? I don't think it was all neatly packaged like this. So while people might complain that this is already public information, it gives fresh eyeballs, fresh access to the information to pore over it. We should also point out Roger Stone making it very clear. Speaking of Epstein, Schumer got thousands in donations from Jeffrey Epstein. And speaking of Oversight, let's check in with the chairman, James Comer, breaking some major news. Alex Acosta coming in to testify in a couple of weeks. Epstein documents currently being uploaded for transparency. And here's more.
Epstein, just give a quick update. I think everyone knows who all we've subpoenaed thus far. In the initial batch, we subpoenaed 6 former attorneys general, as well as Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. We've expanded that to Alex Acosta. Acosta's coming in, I believe, September the 19th, 16th or 19th. We've got that date down. I know that we'll have a lot of questions for him with respect to an earlier Epstein prosecution that he was involved in when he was U.S. Attorney. We have the documents, the initial batch that had been sent by the White House. As you know, we also subpoenaed Pam Bondi for those documents. The White House is working with us. I want to publicly thank the White House for turning over so many documents thus far. We're in the process of uploading those documents for full transparency so everyone in America can see those documents. It's going to, as quick as we can get them uploaded, and as the speaker said, there are 34,000 pages. So we're doing everything we can to get those uploaded. We want those to be public as soon as possible. And then we're going to continue to bring in more people. We learned of some additional names today. We're going to do everything we can to give the American public the transparency they seek, as well as to provide accountability in memory of the victims who have already passed away, as well as those that were in the room and many others who haven't come forward. So we're sincere about this. This was a 2.5-hour discussion. It was as bipartisan as anything I've seen in the 9 years I've been here. Appreciate the speaker for giving us the authority to seek out everything that I think you all want and the people that I talk to as I travel America want. We're going to do everything we can to get the answers and to do it as soon as possible. Just give a quick update.
What's interesting is he brings up Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. As you know, Robert Mueller recently came down with a convenient reason why he can't testify in the Obamagate scandal, right? He has health issues. He's his deteriorating mental capacity. Well, you know, just yesterday we reported that Bill Clinton was spotted with a defibrillator and basically a medical device with Hillary Clinton on the tarmac traveling somewhere. Now, immediately when he said that, I said, wait a second. You got Mueller making an excuse. You've got Clinton's now possibly seeding a reason why they may avoid their own subpoena in this case. So get ready for some major excuses from the Clinton camp when it comes time for real accountability and to testify. Let's keep going. Okay, let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here she is at the event today outside the Capitol. There's so much to go into here, so just bear with me because we've been cataloging this all day.
It's an issue. Good morning. This is my 5th year in Congress, and this is the largest press conference that I've seen since I've been here. And this is because this is an issue that matters so much to Americans. This is an issue that doesn't have political boundaries. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats should never fight about. As a matter of fact, it's such an important issue that it should bring us all together. It's grieved me to watch the arguments and debates take place among my colleagues and even the administration. I think this is something that was worth fighting for. You see, the women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young. But these are also similar stories that many children, teenagers, women, and even men are enduring nightmares right now as we speak. You see, these women have been fighting since the 1990s. I heard one woman tell us yesterday since 1996. And they have carried with them shame. But I want to tell you something. The shame does not fall on these brave, courageous women. The shame falls on every single person that coldly turned a blind eye to their abuse. The shame falls on every single person that enabled it. The shame falls on every single person that took money to continue it. And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal that continued a nightmare. Those people deserve the shame. And today we are coming forward and we are going to fight like hell for these women, because we have to fight like hell for those that are enduring sexual abuse and are living in a prison of shame. Anyone that is being abused, it is not your fault. You should live with no guilt or fear or shame. All of the fault belongs to the evil people that do these things to the innocent. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never receive justice. And the women behind me have never received justice. And do you want to know why? It's because Jeffrey Epstein somehow was able to walk among the most rich, powerful people, not only in America, but foreign countries. Yesterday, I heard countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and even Israel, and other countries. The truth needs to come out, and the government holds the truth. The cases that are sealed hold the truth. Jeffrey Epstein's estate holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. And the truth we are demanding come out on behalf of these women, but also as a strong message to every innocent child, teenager, woman, and man that is being held captive in abuse. This should never happen in America, and it should never be a political issue that divides us.
And there is more. Here is an Epstein victim's lawyer says that Trump actually helped victims back in 2009. Of course, this destroys the left's narrative as one of the reasons why they claim they want this transparency is because they want to take down Trump. Well, here's an Epstein victim's lawyer.
Wasn't looking into
response, and thank you all for being here.
I'll go first and then I'll let them. They're much more important than me, but I don't understand why it's a hostile act. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that, he didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then. He didn't treat this as a hoax. So at this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he was saying to get elected, which is, I want transparency. This about face that occurred, none of us understand it. In fact, I don't understand how this is an issue that's even up for debate. How do you not stand behind these women after you've heard their stories and know that hundreds of them were abused, and it was only because files are being kept in secrecy? The world should know who he is, who protected him, and the other.
Thank you all for.
Fact check. Representative Jim McGovern. Nearly everything Republicans just supposedly released has already been released. They're doing everything in their power to muddy the waters, release the files. And check this out. Nancy Mace writes, President Trump is the one who banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. Trump is the one who cooperated with the feds to get this guy. Trump is the one who was committed to protecting women and kids. I think we also, and then there was this moment. Don Lemon storming into Marjorie Taylor Greene's office. We're going to get to that in a second, and the House Speaker, but there was a point that I wanted to bring up that was raised. Here it is. Donald Trump Jr. Posting the same video I was about to show you. The left is trying so hard to pin DJT to this while ignoring all their friends who were involved. But as I've been saying for years, if he really was at all involved, don't we all understand that would have leaked years ago? The liberal tears will be flowing bigly. He's quote tweeting Eric Daugherty. Epstein survivors give an answer to NBC News, and Democrats are fuming because the narrative is done.
It's just something that I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
I do have to ask, and I know.
Very clear. Let's get to that. Here, actually, let's go to a victim. Let's go to one of the victims. Say they will compile their own list of names associated with Jeffrey Epstein. Listen.
And stand with us. Transparency is justice. Release the files. End the secrecy. And stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. The names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. That's right. Thank you.
So they will be compiling their own list of names. Now let's take a look at what happened shortly after the event. Ford Fisher, news to share, was on the ground. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually posting the video. This is how Don Lemon, who was fired by CNN for being such a disgusting, misogynistic pig to his female coworkers and women, trying to get viewers for his new podcast. Clearly his misogyny continues. Capitol Police had to ask Don and his production team to leave for aggressively harassing my staff after they stormed the Capitol and my office. Now, this was actually posted 24 hours ago, so this actually did not happen afterwards, after the event, so just a quick correction there. But check this out. So we actually have more from that. Let's see here. Here is the video. Activists demanding Trump's impeachment and release of Epstein files entering Marjorie Taylor Greene's office with Don Lemon.
After you. Come on. After you. After you. Hello.
We're here with the folks to see the Congresswoman.
She's not available right now. I'm so sorry about that.
Is she in?
You guys can contact our office at a different time if you guys would like a meeting with the Congresswoman.
Well,
can we leave word for her?
Sure, you guys can pass along the comment.
Yeah, we would like to make sure that she knows that we need to get Donald Trump impeached and out of office. Okay. My name is Carlos Alvarez Arandes. I'm the founder of American Opposition. I'm sure you've seen the protests on the streets and the Tesla boycott and all of that. We were one of the organizations that started that. This is Jessica Benson with the removal commission.
Office. So I'm going to have to ask you to stop recording. This is a private office.
Yes, and we're here to see the Congresswoman.
You're not residents of our district and you haven't requested.
Yes, well, we're here requesting a meeting.
Well, again, your group is still recording. If you continue to record, we're going to have to contact the Capitol Police.
Okay.
No problem. Do you know when we can get her or be in touch with you guys?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We're here. We have
Don Lemon pulling a stunt at Marjorie Taylor Greene's office. Let's go to the House Speaker from last night talking about the Epstein transparency.
That's his mindset. I've spoken to the president myself about this many times, and he is insistent as we are. He is the most transparent president in memory, probably in the history of the country. As you know, he stops. If he were here now, he would stand here and take your questions endlessly. That's his mindset, and he wants the American people to have information so they can draw their own conclusions. I've talked with him about this very subject myself, so I can tell you that is his heart. Now, he also, just as we do, is insistent that we protect the innocent victims, and that's what this has been about. I've spoken to the president myself about this many times.
So there is the House Speaker. Let's see here. Let's go to Ro Khanna at the event.
And we've been released. We are demanding today on the discharge petition that all of the files be released. We know we have 212 Democrats and we have 4 Republicans, courageous Republicans like Thomas Massie, Nancy Mace, who was so emotional yesterday after talking to the survivors, Congresswoman Boebert, and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. We need just 2 more signatures to force the release. So we gather here on the steps of the Capitol to confront these corrupt forces. Today we stand with survivors. We stand against big money. We stand to protect America's children. Been released.
Will there be 2 more? Here we have this from Democrat ranking member Robert Garcia has released a statement about the Epstein documents Pam Bondi gave to the Oversight Committee. Turns out the cover-up was real. Garcia's entire statement is a must-read. And 33,000 pages of documents Comer has decided to release were already mostly public information. And he says, don't let this fool you. I believe we actually have his remarks as well. Let's see. I think speaking of this, every major network carrying the Epstein victims press release conference except for Fox News. That's very, very interesting. Let's see, what else have we got here? We got Ro Khanna. Okay, so this is Garcia. Talking about Trump has the power to release the Epstein files.
Subpoenaed. 2 things. One is Donald Trump has the power right now to release all of the Epstein files and documents. Right now. The DOJ is refusing to release the documents that have been subpoenaed. So there is a White House cover-up at the very highest level in getting the American public the information to bring justice to these victims. And I think it's very important for everyone to understand that. The second thing that's important is in the days ahead, we already know we're going to hear from some of the victims tomorrow. We're going to be hearing from other victims in other ways in the days and weeks ahead. It is very important that we believe these women, that we believe these survivors, we honor that, and that we work to bring them justice. Two things.
So he's calling it a cover-up at the highest levels. Here is a survivor, Shantae Davies, reveals she was taken on a trip to Africa.
And I trusted. 2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. And while what I endured will haunt me forever, I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. 2002, I was...
That was just one of the survivors speaking out. Thomas Massie also writing, the White House says, helping me secure a vote to release the Epstein files is a hostile act and threatening anyone who helps bring true transparency and justice to survivors. This is a tacit admission. The Oversight Committee data release is woefully incomplete. The White House official told NBC News in an email helping Thomas Massie would be viewed as a hostile act. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene on Real America's Voice just a couple of hours ago.
MAGA through.
Today he called it a hoax while these women were speaking out and they were saying we're not a hoax, we're human beings. And I think we need to see something turn around there.
You know,
and I'll say this, Eric.
He can prove it's a hoax by releasing it. Let us decide if it's a hoax or not. I mean, I love everything they're doing. I'm MAGA through and through.
Well, I just want to finish up on one thing. Yeah. It's not a hoax because Jeffrey Epstein is a convicted pedophile. That takes away the whole hoax things. It's not a hoax. It's not a lie. And on that note, Eric, every Republican should be able to sign on to this. And that's the real hoax, that they're afraid to sign on to it because somebody who is a real coward from one of the Trump admin officials came out and called this a hostile act against the Trump administration. And I take very big offense to that because I put my life and my fortune on the line fighting to get that man elected. And whoever said that has their job because of people like me that fought all the horrible Republicans that stabbed him in the back after January 6th. And I was one of those that fought on the front lines and said, no, he is the leader of our party. He is the president, and we're going to make him president again. Well, that coward attacked me and attacked anybody else and called it a hostile act. The hostile act was Jeffrey Epstein raping 14-year-old girls. That was the hostile act, and it's not a hoax. Today he called it a hoax.
Oh my goodness, man. It is exploding everywhere. Speaking of Fox News, they did have some coverage. This is Agenda Free TV. And they put a D next to Thomas Massie's name. That's not Fox. Agenda Free TV. Let's see what else we have here lined up. Let's see. I think we got this. We got Rokana. Let's see. I think we've covered. Oh, here. This is more. This is Massie actually yesterday outside the Capitol.
The president's called it a hoax.
He's called it a hoax. I hope he doesn't say that after tomorrow when 10 of the survivors testify in public. That would be very disrespectful.
We have the entire press conference on our X account. You can watch it in full. It's right there. Let's see. Here's more from Thomas Massie outside the Capitol yesterday.
Look, well, the question is, why are they doing a pressure? Why are they doing
why do you
that?
think
Why do they? Because they don't want the files released. Look, if my legislation were redundant, why would the White House be trying to stop it? It's not redundant. There are things that the White House doesn't want out there that my legislation would cause to be released, and that even the White House doesn't believe that the Oversight Committee has released everything. Well, the question is, why are they doing a pressure?
So this is only the beginning. Victims speaking out, Don Lemon causing chaos, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here's even Tim Burchett talking about it. We got to rethink the whole thing.
There's some, these ladies were mistreated, of course, by Epstein and Maxwell, but also mistreated by our government. And we got to rethink the whole files thing. Apparently, there's some files that they don't want out. So I've said all along, we need to protect these young ladies, well, they're ladies. I guess they were young, they were kids when it happened. So, yeah, we need to make sure we do that. And I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to get to the right spot where we can release everything that needs to be released. But again, in our rush to do this, we have to protect these ladies and these others that were involved.
Is that what they were advocating for in there, to keep some things private?
Yeah, because I asked specifically. It wasn't really a question and answer, but they made a statement, and I asked specifically about certain files. I don't want to disclose too much because obviously, but yeah, I think we need to protect those young ladies.
Are you still going to sign on to Massie's discharge petition?
I got to clarify that we can protect what they need protected. I think we all agree on that.
So will he sign on? That remains to be seen. So much is happening. Everybody's speaking out. Schumer got thousands of donations from Jeffrey Epstein. But this story is far from over. A lot of trauma and a lot of hope on the horizon. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this is not about conspiracy theories anymore. This is about documented facts, congressional testimony, and survivors ready to name names. When a sitting representative reveals that his biggest political enemy is in the Epstein Black Book, when the White House threatens lawmakers for demanding transparency, when survivors confirm foreign intelligence involvement, we're watching the biggest cover-up in American history unravel. They want you distracted. They want you arguing about pronouns while they protect predators. But here's the truth. This network of blackmail and control explains why nothing ever changes in Washington. It explains why certain people never face justice. It explains why our government serves everyone except American citizens. So here's my question. Do you believe that Epstein acted alone? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments right now. Let's continue the conversation. And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. It's linked below. Show the world that you are not afraid of the truth.